So how do we solve the capital's problem with knife crime? Well, joining me now is the founder and chief executive of the Martial Arts and Mentoring Academy of Hard Knocks, Sam Rowe. And joining me as well from central London is Sky News' police analyst, Graham Wetton. Welcome to both of you, gentlemen. Sam, to you first. What on earth is going on from your perspective?
From my perspective, I deal with a lot of youths in London and in Hampshire. So it's prevalent across the country. And they feel they have to carry a weapon to protect themselves. They're scared. They have to carry a weapon to protect themselves. So we show them a different way, a different path to go down.
Yeah, I've interviewed a lot of A&E doctors about this, and they say they get these young kids as you know, the age of 7, who come in and they've been wearing stab vests to go to school. I mean, that's the reality.
That's the reality of it now. It's scary out there. I don't want to scare anyone, but kids nowadays, they feel they have to carry a weapon to protect themselves. We show them a different way. You don't have to carry a weapon.
What do you mean, a different way?
A different way. Well, they think they have to carry one for protection. I teach them, if someone comes at you with a great big knife, your best defence is to use your legs and run. Not stand there and fight or pull out another knife.
And how do you get hold of these kids, and what do you do with them so that they come to that conclusion?
Yeah, they get referred by local agencies, the police, the probation, the drug agencies, the homeless shelters. We're trying to do the same as what I do in Hampshire, in London at the moment. And they get referred to us, and then we teach them right from wrong. I'm dealing with 6 at the moment who have all been flagged up for carrying knives.
Let's bring you in here, Graham. Sam was just talking about the number of different organisations that have to be involved in a solution here. It's a complex problem, isn't it? It's very easy to say that cuts to police is what's driven this spike in knife crime. It certainly can't have helped, but I mean, what's your response to that?
Well, it isn't just numbers of police officers, but that's a major factor. That's what's caused this lack of almost like a visible deterrent on the street. The youth of today don't feel safe, as you just heard, so they feel they've either got to carry another weapon to defend themselves, or they've got to protect themselves by wearing body armour. And that's primarily down to the fact that people no longer feel safe on the streets. The real fear of crime is one of the main things that the public now have. So it is primarily down to the cuts in police. But again, as you said, there are other issues as well. Cuts to youth agencies, cuts to diversion schemes and youth schemes. This is all like that. It's all like a perfect storm to allow this violence to increase and become a real crisis on the streets.
And it's not just a matter of putting things back, is it? Because you can't just pick up where you left off. If you put all the police back on the streets, that they need specialist training, don't they?
It takes a while to train a police officer. It takes a while for them to get experienced in it. And plus the fact you also need, as it's just been mentioned there, you need these other schemes to send to. You can't just arrest your way out of this. That's one aspect of it. But once you've arrested them, they go to a court, they need sentencing. They need somebody to take them from being sentenced and stop them carrying a knife again and just repeating the offence. So it is a whole load of problems that need solving. But it needs someone from government to actually take an interest in this and do some action, take some action, rather than just keep mentioning words and starting to throw small amounts of money at solving only one part of the problem.
Sam, we can call on institutions all we like. Where are the parents in all of this?
The parents, I mean, I would like to add, the parents out there, parents should be doing their own bit as well, checking their kids when they leave the house, checking they ain't carrying their mum's kitchen knife out on the street with them. So parents do.
So why aren't they doing it?
They don't feel I look at my kids and wouldn't dream of thinking they'd carry a knife out of the house, but maybe they would. So it's fitting to check your kids.
And so when these kids come to you, you have to work with the parents as well as...
Yeah, I do work with the parents. I get on well with all the parents and go on results.
You don't?
I do get on well with all the parents.
Good. Just as well.
I do get on well with all the parents. One mother said to me, what have you done to my child? He's a changed lad. And that was 6 weeks in. We're nearly finished the course now. He's offered to give me his weapons that he's got stashed up all over the place. But we're grassroots community, like what I run, my Academy of Hard Knocks, but there's also, we've got 36 of us all meeting in Dagenham at Youth Unity Day, and all going to cross referrals and stuff like that. There's no funding. None of us got any funding, so we're putting on a fundraiser this weekend called Youth Unity Day in Dagenham.
It often comes back to funding, doesn't it? Graham, I mean, Glasgow is often held up as a city that has got this right, or has certainly made great strides in trying to tackle it. What do they do right that we could perhaps borrow more of here in London?
There's only parts of what they applied in Glasgow. They had like a public health approach to it, where they used all the other agencies, a multi-agency approach, by looking at maybe diversion schemes, education schemes about carrying knives, etc. But the first thing they did was to put more police out on the streets and actually enforce the law. That was the first deterrent, the first step, and that's what they need to do in London. And then look at all these other schemes, as you just mentioned. There's no funding for many of these schemes. So if the police arrest them and they get convicted, there's nothing else to do with them after that. They come back out on the street, they go to wherever they've stashed their knives. They don't often leave home carrying it, but they go out and find where they've hidden a knife somewhere on the street, then they're carrying a knife again. So you're back in, it's a vicious circle.
It's depressing, isn't it, Sam, when you think about it like that? Do you predict that this problem's just going to come
I said, I come on here last year in April, and I said exactly the same thing. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
And it's still getting worse.
And it's getting worse and worse. I mean, there's 5 deaths in 6 days this week alone through stabbing. So everybody needs to do their part. We all need to come together, work together. And I've spent 90% of my time chasing funding for the New London project, which is in Pepper Street and Isle of Dogs. And for the Hampshire one, I'm chasing funding. I spend 90% of my time chasing funding.
Yeah, you can't
when we
do
should
it
be
for
doing,
nothing,
we should be doing what we're good at. It's showing these kids right from wrong, role models, celebrities, MMA stars.
Yeah, well, it seems all the politicians have got other distractions at the moment,
Yeah,
doesn't
Brexit.
it? Yeah.
Brexit. All the money I spent on that.
OK, all right. Sam Rowe, Graham Wetton, very good to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.